Hello, welcome to Biology for You. In this video, we are going to discuss touchdown PCR. So, in this video, we are going to have the basic idea over it. That means what exactly is the touchdown PCR is and why it is important and what is the exact process of the touchdown PCR. So, coming to the first point, what is touchdown PCR? So, touchdown PCR is a type of PCR or a variant of a PCR. As name indicates, it's a type of PCR. So, here what is PCR? First, we need to learn what is PCR. So, in order to understand this touchdown PCR, we must have the basic idea of the PCR. So, PCR stands for the polymerase chain reaction. So that means it is the artificial process of amplifying certain portion of the DNA in a biological sample. So this PCR is employed in many molecular biology and genetic engineering experiments whenever we want to amplify the DNA, whenever we want to identify certain portion of DNA, whenever we want to selectively isolate certain portion of the DNA, we need to go for this PCR reaction. It is a regular process in many laboratories. So here for different reasons we'll go for PCR. Sometimes we want to amplify the genes, sometimes we want to isolate, sometimes we want to identify some portion. So likewise, so this PCR is having three main steps. One is denaturation, second one is annealing, and third one is the extension. That means during the first step called denaturation, the DNA template that is going to be amplified will be denatured into single strands. The hydrogen bonds will be broken down and the two strands will be separated into two single strands. And in the second step called annealing or primer binding, the oligonucleotide molecules called primers will go and bind to the target sequence. So because of their complementarity nature, complementary sequence present in these small oligonucleotides, they can go and bind these complementary sequences present at the target portion that is going to be amplified. So here, so after primer binding, the proper DNA synthesis will start. So the DNA synthesis is triggered after this primer binding. So primer binding is the process by which it initiates the DNA synthesis during the PCR process. So here, as we already discussed, these oligonucleotides called primers are very much essential for the PCR reaction, and they generally have complementary sequences. So due to the complementary sequences, they go and find the appropriate positions, and they bind to this target sequence. One forward primer and one backward primer will be there. They both go and bind with the target sequence, and there they amplify the DNA. So here the complementarity between the primer and DNA is important factor for the initiation of the DNA synthesis. So what if the complementarity is less? Sometimes if we are using primers that are designed based on the amino acid sequence. So we have the protein, we isolated a protein, we know the sequence of amino acids present in it, but we don't have idea of the gene that is responsible for this amino acids or proteins. So what we do, we'll go for amino acid sequence and we'll make a DNA sequence out of this amino acid sequence. So that DNA sequence can be used as a primer. So by that, forward primer and backward primer will be designed. So these kind of amino acids, as we know, these amino acids have the degenerative coding sequences. So codons for the further synthesis. So there are more than one possibility of the sequence. So here what will happen if amino acids are used for the synthesis designing of the primer, then the sequence may have less complementarity. So the primer sequence may not be completely complementary to the DNA sequence that is targeted for the amplification. And one more thing, if we have the primer sequence that is designed from the relative organism, so the proper organism that is used for the amplification of the DNA is not known, the sequence of the gene is not available, then what we do? From the relative organism, we generally take the sequence of the gene, and from there we will design the primer so that these primers can be used for this experimental organism. And there also chance of, so from the relative organism, if primers are designed, the complementarity will be low. And also if the target sequence, if the target DNA sequence are having many such relevant targets, that means similar sequences are present, and we are targeting all relevant sequences present in the DNA. So similar genes, the same family genes we are triggering to amplify, then the primer sequence will have less complementarity. So these are the possible cases for having less complementary primer. But as we already discussed, primer complementarity is the very important step for the proper amplification of the DNA. That means, what if the less complementary primers are used? The less complementary primers generally leads to the inhibition of the, or maybe I can say non-successful PCR. They stop the PCR amplification completely, or they can also do non-specific amplification. So non-specific amplification is also possible. Instead of amplifying the target portion of the DNA, they may go and bind non-specific region of the DNA, and there the amplification is initiated. That kind of non-specific amplification is also possible. Or primer dimers may be produced. So these primer dimers are nothing but the forward primer and reverse primer will go and bind themselves to form a primer dimer. So due to the formation of these primer dimers, these primers are no more available for the initiation of the target DNA synthesis in the PCR reaction. So these are the possibilities that generally happens when we use less complementary primers. So generally what we do, in order to troubleshoot all these things in the laboratories, when we are using less complementary primer, what we do? We generally go for high annealing temperature. So due to the high annealing temperature, more than its melting temperature, it ensures the binding of the complementary regions. So the proper binding or perfect binding or stable binding of the primer to the target DNA is only possible. Otherwise, if the binding is not proper, it will stop the reaction to happen. So generally, while the high annealing temperature will ensure the specific binding between the primer and the target DNA. So generally we use this high annealing temperature, but the problem with using this high annealing temperature is that if we are going for high annealing temperatures, then if the complementarity, as we already discussed, the stringent conditions ensure it ensure the perfect binding. So if one or two nucleotides are not matching with the DNA sequence present in the target, then they will not form this bonding, stable bonding, and they cannot initiate the reaction. So generally at high annealing temperatures with low complementary primer, the result would be inhibition of the PCR reaction. So PCR amplification will not be possible. So for that conditions, we are going to use this touchdown PCR. So while we are using this less complementary primers, we need to go for touchdown PCR. So that is the importance of the touchdown PCR. So coming to the principle, how this touchdown PCR will work. Generally for touchdown PCR, what we do is, for initial cycles of the amplification, will increase the temperature of annealing, and in later following cycles will have sequentially reducing annealing temperature will happen in the following cycle. So initially we ensure high annealing temperature for the stringent temperatures for the primer binding to the specific sequences. Once after few amplifications are carried, that means few cycles are carried with at high temperatures, what we do is we'll low down the temperatures will be reduced, so that amplification is easy, primer binding would be easy for the target sequence. So already some product got accumulated, some target sequences got amplified, so this is dominant over the non-specific portion of the DNA, because already some part of the DNA which is targeted, that means the target sequence is already amplified several times. So the product accumulated until here, until initial cycles is already specific and what we targeted for. So later that, even though if we lower down the temperatures, then also the specific amplification only triggered. So that is how the touchdown PCR will work. That means in detail we can say, okay, let us consider the annealing temperature. Optimum annealing temperature is something 45 degrees around. So based on the complementarity of the primer, we generally use the annealing, we generally fix some temperature for annealing. So based on that, if the optimal temperature for primer binding that we fixed is 45 degrees, then what we do for initial cycles, for the first cycle, we'll go for high annealing temperatures, like more than 5 to 10 degrees more than the primer proper binding temperature. So 5 to 10 degrees more than the 45 degrees generally used. That means some 50 to 55 degrees of temperature generally used for initial cycles, first cycle of the PCR reaction. Then it ensures the proper binding of the primer and the target DNA. Because of the high stringent conditions, non-specific binding is not possible. And during the next step, 1 degree temperature will be lower down. That means some 49 to it is 55. So 49 to 54. Likewise, in the next succeeding cycle, some 48 to 53. Like that, 1 by 1, 1 degree by 1 degree, the temperatures will be lower down. So by sequential decreasing of the temperatures, the annealing of the primer to the target sequence will be possible at least one of those high temperatures, and the non-specific binding is not at all possible during the initial high annealing temperature cycles. So once after some product is accumulated, that means the target DNA is already amplified. So because of this geometrical amplification of target DNA based on the number of cycles, some amount of target DNA is already accumulated. Target DNA that need to be amplified is already accumulated during the initial high annealing temperature cycles. Then what we do? Then we use lesser than this annealing temperatures. That means even though you use some 40 to 45 degrees, maybe some 5 degrees centigrade lesser to the annealing temperature, between 40 to 45 degrees you can use for the succeeding cycles, maybe some 25 to 30 cycles or 40 cycles we can choose, and the annealing temperature can be standardized, and that would be generally very low than the annealing temperature what previously got fixed. Because of this low annealing temperature, the primer binding is easy to the target sequence which is already accumulated, and the final result is PCR amplification will be successful. It ensures the successful PCR amplification and very specific PCR amplification is also be resulted. So that is what the touchdown PCR will go on decreasing the annealing temperature sequentially up to some extent. Then we lower down the annealing temperature lesser than the normal annealing temperature. So at this low annealing temperature, the amplification is easy, primer binding is easy. So that is how the touchdown PCR will works.